Hello, everyone. I would like to begin today's session going over the activity that I suggested on the previous online session, which was on week one, and which was this forum, the Lies Game forum, where you had to create an entry where you wrote six, seven sentences and you included a lie. Okay, so the activity was quite successful. A lot of people made an entry, and some of you replied to other students, which is the idea was that. So that's great. And this is my entry. There were 20 replies, so thank you for that. It was quite successful, and it was quite funny to read also. So if I go there, you will see that these were my sentences. Among them, there was a lie, and which you had to guess. And some people tried really hard, but without fortune, because you didn't get to know what the lie was till the end. So you see people guessing, and me saying that that was not the right guess. So you see, even somebody said that the lie was that I have a dog. So I posted a photograph of my dog so you could see that it was not a lie. Same with my trip to Malta last summer. Somebody said that that was the lie, and here I posted a photograph of my trip to Malta. So it was really fun reading and knowing your replies. I would also like to say that I haven't corrected anything because that was not the intention. The forum was just for the fun of it. So this was not an exercise to be corrected, right? So don't expect any corrections. It was just to practice some writing and just for the fun of it. Okay. I would also like to present you with the new activity of this week. You know, the additional activity. So this week what we have is a listening exercise. It's not the type of listening exercise that you can find in the book, right? In the student's book. That's why I will give you every now and then listening exercise that is more or less similar to what you can expect in the final exam, in the official exam, right? Because it's not a listening exercise where you have to listen, right? Part of the recording or just identify what somebody says. In the exam, you have to interpret what the people say in the recording with the answers you are given. So it's a bit more complex. We will also do it in class, so don't worry. But I wanted you to see an example of it. So here you have one. It's a video from National Geographic about obesity. And what it suggests you do is you open the questionnaire. You have to click here. You open the questionnaire. It opens a new window, and then if you can have both windows open at the same time, maybe it will be easier for you to do the task. So for example, here this would be the questionnaire. It's only 5 questions, you see. Here you have some instructions on how to do it. It says first read all the questions and answers. So first maybe you should read all the questions, right? And then listen to the video, and if you have both windows open, you can listen and answer at the same time. Okay, I'm just testing this, so for example, and then when you finish, okay, listen again for a second time, check that your answers are correct, and when you finish the attempts, you will get the results, and also you will get some feedback, an explanation why it's one answer and not the other one. So I think it's a very interesting practice that you can do today. Okay, that being said, let me close this window, and we go to the book. I hope you have the book because now we are using it every day. So if you go to your book, we're going to have a look at this. This is a listening and speaking activity, and we did it in class with the other group, and it was done to, first of all, to get to know some new vocabulary, and also to practice this with your partner, and to get to see what your food profile is, right? Food profile is el teu perfil com a pel que fa al menjar. Okay, so there were 6 questions here. First of all, we discussed the vocabulary, the words in bold and negreta. So, for example, snack. Snack is what you eat between meals, right? Between lunch and dinner, or between breakfast and lunch. You can have a snack, which can be a cookie, could be a piece of fruit, depends on the person. Right. We also commented the meaning of the word topping. When topping is, we said that you can have toppings on pizzas, for example. You can have toppings on ice cream, or on cupcakes. So it's the things you put on top of some other things. For example, on ice cream, you can put a topping of chocolate chips, for example, right? Or on pizza, salami topping can be salami, can be cheese, can be anchovies, can be anything you want. Then also filling, as the word says, is what comes inside, right? So sandwich filling would be what you put between the 2 slices of bread in a sandwich. Okay, then we made ready-made food. I used to say food that has been cooked beforehand. So the only thing you have to do is to heat it up in the microwave or on a frying pan. Takeaway food, everybody knows. Then hot or spicy food, it's the same, 2 ways to say it, hot or spicy. Also the meaning of allergic and intolerant, and of course an allergy is a more serious condition than an intolerance, because you can die of an allergy, but not if you are intolerant to something. So we talk about that as well. Also about the food that you usually eat to cheer yourself up. Here, I don't know if you know this phrasal verb, but to cheer yourself up means to be in a better mood, right? Alegrarse, animarse, okay? Right, and okay, also the word miss, you can miss a person, but you can also miss food when you haven't eaten a certain dish that you like a lot. You haven't eaten it for a long time, then you maybe you miss it. Okay, so we had these 6 questions, right? Then number 6, is there any food or drink that you couldn't live without? How often do you eat or drink it? Okay, so we use this questionnaire to expand our vocabulary on food. Maybe you can do it yourself now. That would be a good practice. You can pause the video and answer these questions. So I'm going to give you some seconds to pause the video and do it. Alright. Also, then after that came a listening where 6 people answered 1 question from this text we've just seen, your food profile, and you had to indicate it here, right, according to the question they answered. So 6 people answering 1 of these questions. So let's do the listening, and you have to match the question with the person that answers it. Okay, let's do the listening.
1.7. Emma.
Definitely tea.
I went to Slovenia on holiday recently and I was staying at a hotel and they didn't have any real English breakfast tea. I really missed it in the mornings.
Sarah.
I absolutely love pasta and I try and eat it whenever I can. So I would find it really difficult to live without pasta. Pasta and pesto is my favourite meal and I have it at least twice a week, normally when my husband's away because he's always telling me not to eat so much pasta.
John.
Yes, quite often. My wife's from Asia, from Indonesia, so we often eat hot food. I love hot food, curries, any Indonesian food. I also love Thai food, like a good green curry.
Rob.
I guess like a lot of people, I tend to eat chocolate in that situation. Chocolate or ice cream, maybe. Definitely something sweet.
James.
Only caffeine, actually, which I didn't used to be. I used to drink a lot of coffee, but a few years ago I started noticing that it was affecting me quite badly when I drank coffee. I was getting headaches and I've never been tested for it, but I've stopped drinking caffeine in coffee, and I think I feel better.
Sean.
I like spicy ones, and I like them with meat, so maybe pepperoni? That's what I always end up ordering in an Italian restaurant.
Okay, those were the people answering to the questions from the questionnaire we saw before. I'm going to show you what question answered each speaker. So if you haven't done the exercise yet, if you haven't finished it up, you can pause the video. If not, here it is. Okay, right. So you can go to the questionnaire and see what answer each person says. Right. Let me erase it. Then you listen again, but now I'm going to play the recording again, and then you will have to answer the questions. You get information from the questions these people answer, right? And then I will show you what they actually say, and then you compare if it's correct what you have. So I'm going to play it again.
1.7. Emma.
Definitely tea. I went to Slovenia on holiday recently and I was staying at a hotel and they didn't have any real English breakfast tea. I really missed it in the mornings.
Sarah.
I absolutely love pasta and I try and eat it whenever I can. So I would find it really difficult to live without pasta. Pasta and pesto is my favourite meal and I have it at least twice a week, normally when my husband's away because he's always telling me not to eat so much pasta.
John.
Yes, quite often. My wife's from Asia, from Indonesia, so we often eat hot food. I love hot food, curries, any Indonesian food. I also love Thai food, like a good green curry.
Rob.
I guess like a lot of people, I tend to eat chocolate in that situation. Chocolate or ice cream, maybe. Definitely something sweet.
James.
Only caffeine, actually, which I didn't used to be. I used to drink a lot of coffee, but a few years ago I started noticing that it was affecting me quite badly when I drank coffee. I was getting headaches and I've never been tested for it, but I've stopped drinking caffeine in coffee, and I think I feel better.
Sean.
I like spicy ones, and I like them with meat, so maybe pepperoni? That's what I always end up ordering in an Italian restaurant.
Okay, so I'm going to show you the answer to the questions these people reply to. So in the first case it would be Emma T, right? She misses tea when she goes abroad, and she mentions the experience she had in Slovenia where she couldn't have tea in breakfast and she really missed it. Okay, so here I'm not going to explain all of them in detail, just this is the answer to the question, right? In the case of Sarah, it's pasta. I think it was the food she couldn't live without. Okay, right? This is the answer to each question. Okay. Then what we did in class was we had this questionnaire, we discussed it in pairs, and later we commented on what we had in common with our partner. And then comes the use of certain words in English where there is a coincidence, right? I asked the students in class, were there any coincidences when you were speaking? And of course there were coincidences. And then I asked in class, what words do we use to imply that there is a coincidence when we talk about a fact where two people think the same or two people like the same? And hopefully you are now thinking of these words, which are both and neither, right? So with both we express a coincidence in affirmative, right? So for example, if you and your partner are intolerant to lactose, so you would say both of us are intolerant to lactose. But then imagine that the coincidence is about something negative, right? So for example, you ask your partner, do you like spicy food? And your partner says, no, I don't, and you don't like it either. So you say, neither of us likes very spicy food. Okay, so you use both to express a coincidence in the affirmative, and neither to express a coincidence in the negative. The thing is that for both of them we use a verb, right, in the affirmative form. Why? Because here it's affirmative, and here neither, the word neither is already negative, so it doesn't need the verb to be in the negative, right? Neither is a negative in itself. Also worth commenting and noticing that with both we use the verb in plural, so both of us are, whereas with neither we use the verb in singular, neither of us likes. You see the S is telling you that this is the singular conjugation of the verb. So remember this, when we use both the verb is in plural, when we use neither the verb is in affirmative. So we commented a little about this, about the coincidences that there were in our conversation with our partner. And then we went on with the book. And we went on and we did this reading. Before the reading, we answered these questions, so maybe you can do this now. You could pause the video and either think, or better if you can write it, and answer these questions. What time do you usually get up? What time do you usually have breakfast, do exercise, and so on? So let's do this. Give you a couple of seconds, answer these questions in paper if possible. Right. Then we read the article once, and we answered this question. If we do the things in A at the time the article recommends. So, okay, here we talked about getting up, having breakfast, doing exercise, and so on. Do we do these activities at the time the article recommends? Okay, then you tell me if it's if you do them like the article says or not. So you have to read it and you see if you coincide with this. Then let's read the article again, and this time let's answer these questions, right? So second reading of the article, you have to pause the video obviously and answer these questions. I'm giving you a couple of seconds to pause the video, and I'm going to show you the answer to the questions. These are the answers. Okay. All right, then we search for 6 parts of the body that appeared in this article, and with the help of these hints here, and these were the words. So heart, we also commented if we have one of these parts, 2 or more than 2. So how many hearts do we have? Just 1, obviously. Then stomach, we have 1, but cows have 4, I think. Liver, right? We only have 1. The liver is the part of the body that cleans your blood, right? I think I'm not very good at this, so I'm sorry. Then your brain, muscles, of course, we have a lot of them, we have hundreds of muscles, and the lungs, right? We have 2 lungs. I also added the word kidney. We have 2 kidneys, and with the kidney, I think it's a kidney, the ones that clean your blood and produce urine, right? Okay, so I added the word kidney. I'm going to write it down here. Okay, so kidneys, we have 2 of them. Now some parts of the body, right? Okay, and we didn't do this, right? Then let's do this now. This is listening about this woman. This woman is Mariana Livaditaki. I don't know if I pronounced the surname correctly. And she's the head chef at Morito, a very popular restaurant on Hackney Road in London. Actually, if you Google it on Google Maps, you see that it's a real restaurant here in London, right? This is the restaurant. Okay. So she's head chef in this restaurant. She was born on the island of Crete in Greece, and her father was a Cretan fisherman, and her mother was Scottish. So together they run a seafood restaurant, which is where Mariana spent most of her childhood. So this is a kind of introduction to you, so that you get to know the character, right? And we had some photographs here, which we tried to guess, right? We tried to guess this sentence. There is underneath the photograph. So here it says, we ate fish every day, which... I'm going to tell you how it goes on. Number 2, we boiled it and ate it with... We're talking about this, about lobster, right? Picture number 3 said, I wrote down recipes which I wanted to cook for the family in... We don't know how it goes on. Number 4, we have this photograph, and the sentence goes, my aunt Tia Kula had, and we had to guess the ending of the sentence. And also number 5, occasionally my mom used to buy me and my brother souvlaki for lunch, a sort of. So by looking at the pictures, you have to guess how these sentences finish, right? So how do you think sentences 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 finish? Okay, pause the video, have a look at the pictures, and try to imagine the ending of the sentences. I'm giving you some seconds to do that. And now we're going to listen to part 1 of an interview with Mariana, and we will check our answers to A, which is guessing the end of the sentences that refer to the photographs. So when you have finished doing that, let's listen to this and check.
1.8. Part 1.
With me today, I have Mariana Livaditaki, head chef of Morito Restaurant in Hackney. Hello.
Hello.
Mariana, what was your favourite food when you were a child?
Well, at home we ate a funny mixture, and because of my parents, fresh fish, bacon and eggs for breakfast on Sundays, and traditional apple pies. But my favourite was fish. We ate fish every day, which my dad caught. In fact, my dad still goes fishing every night.
Wow.
Yeah, we were really lucky because not all families could do that, could eat fish every day. Even on an island, fish is expensive, unfortunately.
Did your dad catch fish for the family or for the restaurant?
For both, except for lobsters. When he caught a lobster, he never sold it. It was always for us. We boiled it and ate it with lemon and olive oil. You don't need anything except lemon and olive oil when fish and seafood is really fresh. That's how I cook lobsters nowadays in the restaurant, in Morito.
Were you interested in cooking when you were a child?
Oh, yes. I spent every evening in our restaurant, and instead of playing with the other children, I usually helped in the kitchen. I wrote down recipes which I wanted to cook for the family in a small blue notebook.
So your love of food and cooking came from your parents?
From my parents and also from my aunt, and from many inspiring ladies who surrounded me when I was growing up. My aunt, Tia Kula, had animals, a garden, olive trees and grapes. In the summer, I often spent all day with her. She knew everything about wild food in Crete. She only ate what she had grown, or found, or made herself. Such a beautiful way to eat.
Did you ever eat out as a child?
Never in the evening, because our restaurant was open for dinner 7 days a week. But occasionally my mum used to buy me and my brother souvlaki for lunch, a sort of Greek sandwich with pita bread. Inside it has pork, tomato, red onion and lots of thick yogurt.
Okay, I hope your guesses about the photographs were correct. So let's have a look at this and let's see how it finishes. Actually, I think there is no answer here, right? So, but anyway, if you listen to the recording, she says, we ate fish every day, which my father cooked, I think she says. And then we boiled it, referring to lobster, and ate it with lemon and oil. Sorry, I'm talking from memory, and my memory is very bad. I thought there was the answer was here, but it's not. I hope what I say is correct. Then she says, I wrote down recipes which I wanted to cook for the family in a blue notebook. Is that possible? Yeah. And then about number 4, she says that her own Tia Kula had a garden, had animals and grapes, and right. So what you can see in the photograph. And then about picture number 5, she says that occasionally her mom used to buy her and her brother souvlaki for lunch, which is a sort of sandwich with pita bread. This is pita bread, and inside you can have tomato, pork, red onion, and that's all. Okay, so I don't know if you guessed the ending of the sentences. Anyway, let's we can listen to it again, but I'm not playing it, so I suggest if you need to listen to it again, you go back in this recording and listen again. And maybe we can comment a little, or you can try to remember or get more information about each photograph. Now we're going to listen to part 2, and you have these 5 questions to answer, right? So let's listen to it, and especially try to get the answers to these 5 questions.
1.9. Part 2.
So, did you always want to be a chef, to have your own restaurant?
No, not at all. I wanted to be a psychologist. And when I was 18, I came to the UK to study at Kent University. Then I decided I didn't want to be a psychologist after all, and I went travelling for a bit. I'd saved some money at university because I worked in the evenings. I went all around Southern Europe and also to South America, to Ecuador. I tried all sorts of different dishes and fell in love with food again. So I went back to Crete and worked in our family restaurant for 2 years.
Why did you come back to the UK?
Well, I wanted to continue working as a chef, but I needed a bigger challenge. And when I was a student in the UK and I missed good food, I used to save money to go to London to have dinner in a restaurant called Moro. It wasn't Greek food, but it was Mediterranean, Spanish, North African, and I loved it. So when I came back to London, I went to Moro and I said, I want a job. And they gave me one.
And what happened then?
Well, really slowly, through hard work, and after 7 years, I became head chef. It was magic. And then the owners of Moro, Samantha and Samuel Clark, suggested that I help them open Morito.
How is Morito different from Moro?
It's the same inspiration, and many of the dishes are similar, but because I run the kitchen, I have been able to have more Cretan dishes on the menu, dishes from my childhood. This week, for example, I'm making dakos, a Cretan salad made with fresh goat's cheese, tomato and bread.
Do you go back to Crete much?
Yes, I go to Crete maybe 4 or 5 times a year. My family's restaurant is closed now, but I go out for lunch with my friends, the people I miss when I'm in London. Food comes and we share everything. We always order too much, and by the end of it, we feel incredibly full.
Well, Mariana, it's been great chatting to you, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me.
Alright, so this is part 2, and I'm going to show you the answers to these questions now. So if you didn't have time to write the answers, do it now. Pause the video and write the answers, and I'll show you in a couple of seconds. Okay, so these are the answers. Okay, perfect. Alright, so basically, well, here you have some more questions, but we didn't have time to do this in class either. So basically, what in this session, what we did was have a good reading and work the pre-reading, and then analyze the information in the text and answering the questions, expands a little vocabulary, and then we had this listening, which you have just done, and that's all, right? Also, here's some vocabulary and the use of both and neither. So that's all for today. See you next day in class, and bye bye.